โอเคออนแล้วนะ
Good morning and welcome to the Dhamma program of Wat Anapanasati, Washington, USA, and also welcome to the page of Wat Phutta Panya Nantaram, Vancouver, Canada. Good morning, everybody, and good evening, Thailand. Today we will continue with the Anapanasati through the process of the Sorasa Yana or Vipassana Yana. Last time we stopped at the Sajjanaroma Yana, which is a 12 insight. We're going to repeat a little bit about the Sankharupekkha Yana, which is the 11 insight or the 11 Yana, which I mentioned about the characteristics of the insight that the mind or practitioners is really much equanimous, or what we call it really upekkha, towards the formation of the or even the deformation of the body and mind. We call it sankhara. One now knows this only the way to realize that the only seeing cannot mind highly, which different from the ordinary people that the loved one, when you separated from the loved one, or if you like how get into fire, those kind of activities which used to be your burden, your mind will always be agitated. For example, in the situation that you have to lose your parents, your son, your family members, that always agitate your mind. But if you practice the Sankharupekkha, your mind become in shape and unshakable. That was really the meaning of the Sankhara, and also that can be noticed or realized the Sankharupekkha. Then we can move up to the 12 insight that is called the 12 yana. So what happened during this insight? One will consider on the Four Noble Truth. When your mind is in peace, your mind is very equanimous. You feel like the darkness is gone and the light has been turned on in your mind, and that's how you can see clearly what's going on actually in your life, and you have set up your mind towards the highest Dhamma of the Buddha, that is the Four Noble Truth that he discovered when he was sitting and meditate under the Bodhi tree in India. So during this insight, one will consider on the Four Noble Truth, consider on the three characteristics of all things, that upon clearly understanding, one will gain more and more right view, and the strength of the seven set of enlightenment factors, especially the Noble Eightfold Path, will appear in the mind, and mental defilement, which are the great anger and delusion are tremendously deactivated and become powerless because of understanding and seeing clearly the Four Noble Truths. That is the big piece of the Dhamma that the Buddha discovered. So if someone asks you that what Dhamma did the Buddha realize, or what we can say that what he did discover, that is nothing but the big piece of the Four Noble Truths, which is the suffering, cause of the suffering, the end of the suffering, and the way to end the suffering. That's what has been discovered, and that once we practice, obviously he saw that piece very clearly. Same thing when our mind is calm and our panya is so clear, we get access to the Four Noble Truths as well. So let me explain more about what's going on. The practitioner now has great insight to see clearly about the suffering and has no doubt that birth, aging, death, on and on are suffering. He now has a right view, the insight to see the cause of the suffering, that is the craving, or tanha in Pali. They are classified as sensual desire, the kama tanha, wanting to be, to have. In Pali we call power tanha. He now has a right view and understanding the end of the suffering, how is it like, and also you will have a right view and understanding the end of the suffering, how is it like. And you now who practice has a right view and understanding advantage of the way that lead to the end of the suffering. And the Noble Eightfold Path. See, this is showing that the process of the jnana or vipassana, the 16 jnana, gradually your mind to have the Magga or the Noble Eightfold Path that embodies in the mind. It's just like the way that you install some instrument or some tools that ready to be used. You got the tool, your mind had installed with the Magga or the Noble Eightfold Path. That is how that's what you realize during your practice up until the Sajja Niromayana. So all the pure knowledge occur through a direct experience during the insight, especially from the fourth insight on. The great result from achieving this insight is just like a shadow that blinding the Four Noble Truths is being disappear, and you will realize the more result, which are the Noble Eightfold Path, appear clearly in the mind. The three characteristics and the truth has been directly experienced. The wrong view or the ignorance has been fed away. And you probably realize that insight wisdom is the greatest piece to uproot the mental defilement. All mental defilement gradually reduce, fading away from your mind. you're going to become slowly the different person when you get out of the meditation, especially the solar sayana. Your appearance to the world, your attitude to the world, the idea to the world is changed. What I want to say is you're going to become a new person. All this stage, the practitioner will have insight which followed by the right intention, and he will put more effort, mindfulness, and gain more wisdom to continue the next insight. It's to be said that one to leave the body and mind or the nibbana as mind is leave the sankhara body and mind to where no that is nibbana. So the object, the meditation in this insight and to the nibbana. If you closely notice that your mind, there's some sort of empty mind, you feel like you realize the emptiness in your mind. Is you change the makeup from to the nibbana. So a little bit about how does this situation of my phenomena of your mind has been from the first insight to the 12th insight. The practitioner is still working path in convention in what we call it in Lokadhamma or the conventional world. So that can be called as the conventional insight. In Pali, we call it Lokiyayana. This is because one still has the body and mind as a meditation object, which is different from Satya Niromayana, which is projecting to the Nibbana. So the piece or the object in your mind is tremendously changed from one end, which is the side of the Lokiya to the side of Lokutara, which is unconditional sight. And this can be called as the unconventional insight. And we call it in Bali is asankala dhamma or asankhata dhamma, that is the deformation or the unconditioned phenomena. And I remember once my teacher told me that here you have come to the edge of the world. You're sitting on the limbo, the edge of the world for ordinary person. Or we call it ปุถุชนะ or ในภาษาไทยเราเรียกว่าเราก้าวข้ามความเป็นปุถุชนไป and that is the end of Satya Niromayana. That's the insight of willing the Four Noble Truths. with the nibbana as the meditation object instead of the sankhara. And that's how your mind, once it changes, you will never feel like to make a U-turn. You will never feel like to turn around your life. You will really want to move on and on. And that's how you become the person who your mind set up, personality, your mental mind more clear, more than your concentration, your jhana is really stronger and ready to go. And that's how you cross over. And that is called the third insight, which is the Kotara Putayana. The characteristic of the Kotara Pujana is you have a feeling of you are living in two worlds. The world of the Putuchana, or ภาษาไทยเราเรียกว่าโลกของปุถุชน But one leg you are standing in the sight of Nibbana, or Nibbana. The only thing that make you moving on is your mind. The Makka is always say that when your mind stain or install with the Makka, you will never go back. You always go up. You never go down, but you always go up and up, on and on. And that is with the strength, that is because of the strength or the power of the Makka, the power of the Noble Eightfold Path that you cultivated to the process of the Vipassana. And that's well equipped with the Sila, that your speech, your action, your livelihood, your intention, your will are in shape, are well equipped, are in the right path. That's how your samadhi, your concentration, and your, of course, and your mindfulness. And actually, we can consider that your Makka, the Noble Eightfold Path in your mind, are getting power, more power and power. And that Noble Eightfold Path in the mind empower your mind. And that's how it keep you move on, crossing the world of the ordinary person to the noble person or Ariya Bukkala. During the insight of the Kotara Pujana, the mind is inclined, really inclined to the Nibbana. And he has a full intention to be there. Mentioned earlier, and this is because of the strength of the Noble Eightfold Path. The five aggregates, which are the body, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, then momentarily disappear. This is a symbol of life, momentarily disappear. You will feel like you will have a sense of one moment dead. I really enjoy, and most of the practitioners are really enjoy this yana. The Kotara yana is where you can enjoy the dead. I remember one time long ago that my mom's told me that you will experience the death. When I was newly practiced, I was shocked. How can we experience the death moment? That is the key. That is the symbol of the Kotara Pujana, that you're going to experience the death. One moment, one single mind moment of death. And that is a symbol that you come up to the Kotara Pujana. You crossing from one side to the other side. And you are not hesitated. You are really in need to cross from one side to another side, from Lokiya to Lokutara. So why not? And that death where you can enjoy, because it's just a single moment of your mind, that you feel like that you were somewhere. You are not in your sankhara anymore. So the karma or activity that caused the rebirth momentarily disappear, which means the symbol of birth, aging, and death disappear. You see how you enjoy the truth or the Dhamma, or we call the Paramattha Dhamma, through the process of the Sarasayana, or through the process of Vipassana. You are viewing the birth, aging, sickness, and death. When there is no karma, there is no fruition of a karma. When there is no fruition, there will be no rebirth of the body, because in that situation, you have no body, you have no mind. So everything is disappear. This state is just like the model of the Nibbana that one can feel mentally, taste it in the way that you want to taste the soup or the curry. Especially the soup, the taste of the soup that you used to prepare before, and you like the same taste. And then when you make a same thing, it's just like the way that you're doing a meditation, the Vipassana meditation. You used to do it before. You used to taste that kind of feeling before. When you come back down and sit and do it again, you will like it, because you used to taste it before. If you like it apple, you will always reject the mango. That's what my mom told me, teacher. Or if you like mango, you will always reject the apple. Through the stage, the practitioner has gained the perfect wisdom, which is called panya, which will degenerate the ordinary or the common, the ordinary personality, or we call it ปุถุชน or ปุถุชน ในภาษาไทย, and will transform him into the noble personality, which is called อริยปุคคลานะ or อริยบุคคล. Teacher said once that 12 insight has removed the darkness that used to cover up the foldable truth, but still hold the body and mind. But in this 13th stage, try to grab and fasten the Nibbana as the object. The teacher say this insight is identified as the insight that lays between two worlds, the conventional and unconventional world. So the Kotara Pujana is considered as a transitional stage that your mind crossing from the conventional to the unconventional world. You see how wonderful. That's how I really motivate a lot of people to practice the Sarasayana or the 16 yana, because not many people can realize the date. Why you are still breathing? Your own experience, yourself experiencing the date. Not many people, honestly. But those people who are really seriously, mindfully practice the 16 yana will be able to see the date, to feel the date. And that's how you want to be free from the date. Because you understand the date. You understand what is the samsara is. What is the danger of the samsara. So that was about the Kotara Pujana, that ones who really seriously practice will really enjoy, and you are really totally become a different person, because you experience the death for yourself, by yourself. And that's how you can bring it up and explain what is death, what is life. And if you want to be free from birth and death, while you are still living your life, you must practice the 16 yana or the Sarasayana. And once you pass over to the 14th stage or the 14th yana, which is called Makhayana, and the 15th stage, which is called Palayana, the 14 and the 15 are really just one moment, one single moment of mind. And it has become agaliko between the Makayana and Palayana. Agaliko means there's no time. It's timeless, momentary. It's just a click. You can a click, really click stage of mind. It's just like when you light up the candle. You always light up at the tips of the wick. And once the wick of the wax of the candle get heat up by the lighter gun or whatever the matches, it will light up. That kind of a moment you will really realize between the Makayana and the Palayana. ในภาษาไทยเราอาจจะ pronounce หรือเรียกกันว่ามัคคยานและผลยานสองยานนี้เป็นยานที่ ที่เป็นอากาลิโกญาณะคือถ้าในจิตเรามีมรรคจิตเราก็จะมีผลคือมีมรรคญาณย่อมมีผลญาณช่วงเวลาระหว่างมรรคญาณกับผลญาณนั้นเนี่ยเป็นอากาลิโก That is the really characteristic นั่นคือลักษณะของมรรคญาณกับผลญาณThe Makayana in Pali means the way to end the suffering, which is, in fact, one already has developed along the way from the first insight to the 13th insight. And the Palayana in Pali means the fruition from the way that one work. The Makha here is referred to the Noble Eightfold Path, which let me list out for you. Number one is the right view. In Pali, we call Samma Titti. The Samma Titti, or the right view, is the enemy of ignorance. The second one is the right thought, the Samma Sankappa. The Samma Sankappa is an enemy of craving or tanha. The right speech, Samma Vaja. The right action, the Samma Kammanta. The right livelihood, the Samma Achiva or Achivo. The right effort, the Samma Vayama. The right mindfulness, Samma Sati. An enemy of the mental defilements. And the last one, a right concentration, Samma Samadhi. The right view and the right thoughts are referred to the perfect body of wisdom, the panya, that has been embedded in the new mind of the practitioner, the Alaya Bukhalana, or the noble person, which directing the rest of the Noble Eightfold Path, and is uprooting inner layer of the mental defilement, what is called Anusai or Anusaya in Pali. The right effort, the right mindfulness, and the right concentration are well equipped in the mind, refer to the perfect body of the concentration of mind. As I mentioned, if your mind are well equipped with the right effort, right mindfulness, or right concentration, this is a wonderful and the greatest mind of the person, with considered as the greatest quality, pure, active, and concentrative. Is the new mind of the practitioner, which contribute the rest of the Noble Eightfold Path, and that able to uprooting the middle layer of the mental defilement. The right speech, right action, and right livelihood are referred to the perfect body of the Buddhist precept, which is being directed by the right view and right thought, and they destroy the outer layer of the mental defilement, also prevent the person from incoming defilement. So the Buddha has dissect the mind into three different compartments, three parts. The first one, the inner part, is called Anusaya. The second layer, which is once the mind equipped, can be removed by the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. That's the middle layer of the mind. And the outer layer that can be eliminated through the process of the Vipassana, which is the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. And this refers to the Sila, to the Vinaya, to the law of the country, to the law of the nation. Let me brief little bit about the function of the right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. How does it work? Seeing the truth in the present moment of the obvious progressive stage. That is the first function or a duty of the Noble Eightfold Path. The second, it can abandon completely all wrong view and wrong perception during this stage. Number three, it gives a really strong support when you practice the 16 jhana, or the Noble Eightfold Path will be getting stronger and stronger from the stage 1 to the 15th stage. And number four, it can suppress the mental defilements during this stage. And next one, it purifies the mind during the stage. Not only purify, but it stabilizing the mind on the object, whatever the object is. The Lokiya object, or the conventional object, or unconventional object, which is Nibbana. And it's shining out the mind free from all defilements, the darkness of the mental defilements that is cover up your mind. But the stage of the jhana or the Noble Eightfold Path, as I mentioned, it clarifies, it shining the mind. And the Noble Eightfold Path specializing the mind to achieve the nine unconditional state of the mind, namely the four Makkacitta, for the Palacitta and Nibbana-citta. This special mind is called the mind of the noble being, that is Lokutara Cittang. And the Noble Eightfold Path is something that can acknowledging the practitioner that he has accomplished the highest Dhamma during a single stage, enlightening the mind of the practitioner to comprehensively understanding the Four Noble Truths. So that is the function of the right view, or what is called Samma Titi. And then we can take a look of the function of the right thought or an intention, or Samma Sankappa. How does it work? The first one, it will always assist the mind to consider the three characteristics towards all things that one has to experience, enhancing the mind to release from all attachments. The upatana is slowly clear off. The cloud is clear. And the second, it can abandon all three wrong intentions. That is a sensory desire, ill will, encroaching, or hurting. When this wrong intention disappear, the right intention will appear. And what is the new intention? Let's take a look. Number one, intention of ordination. You will feel like you want to be ordinate. Nekhamma. Nekhamma Chittang is appearing in your mind. You will slow down about the way that you work. The second one, your mind will install with a great piece of loving kindness. Metta Chittang. And the third one, your mind will have a compassion, more compassion, and that is Karuna Chittang. And your mind will have the appreciation or joy, that is Mudita Chittang. And finally, when you have a right intention, your mind will become equanimity. Your mind will have ubekha as a quality of the conventional world. So these first two functions of the right thought direct the speech, action, and livelihood for the rest of the Noble Eightfold Path. So the rest of the function of the right thoughts are same as the right view, because it's become a director of the rest of the Noble Eightfold Path. For example, the speech and action and your career. The main function of the right mindfulness, which gained from the foundation of the mindfulness practice, is to hold the mind in the present moment, right in front of the object during all the stages, and the rest of the function are the same as the right view. The main function of the concentration is to always calming the mind and focus on on particular object. For example, if you want to switch from the sankhara, which are the rupa and nama, to the nibbana, that is the main function of the right concentration. It can replace any wrong concentration if any arise, and the rest of the function are the same as the right view. During a really deep stage, all the seven set of the enlightenment factors gather in the mind and play the role, which are the four foundation of the mindfulness, the four effort, the four basis, the five faculties, the five powers, the seven factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path itself. That's what we call the Samakhi Dhamma or a Potipakkhaya Dhamma. The Noble Eightfold Path exists and sitting in the mind of the practitioner, and the practitioner now has already grabbed the Nibbana as an object, and new wholesome mind has been cultivated sufficiently. Then the first three feathers will disappear. We can talk, I think I already talked in the early class about the feather, the 10 feathers, the Sangyojana. Will all these Sangyojana or the 10 feathers will slowly disappear immediately and really effectively give rise to the 15 insight in just quick moment of the mind, timeless. And this will be special moment that you can feel and realize only by one who achieve all those progressive stage. And the teacher always mentioned to me, it's really hard to explain how the Noble Eightfold Path work. The Buddha say that you know for yourself. In Pali we call Pachatang, Vetitapo, when you hit it, which means the wise who practice and achieve will only knows. Sometimes you cannot explain what is going on, what happened, what you realize, what you saw during the stage of the meditation. But you know, you understand comprehensively by yourself. And that is called Pachatang. And that is really called great wisdom, Panya. The Noble Eightfold Path is actually in my simile or to my metaphor, I compare to an archer is shooting a 10 flying eagles. An archer is a practitioner. The arrow is a Noble Eightfold Path, who is an eagle, and an eagle is your defilement. 10 eagles. 10 eagles are 10 mental defilement or sangyojana. In general, there are two kinds of the practitioner: the wise one, and the less wise ones. The wise one will spend only 2 quick moments of mind between 14 and 15 insight and realize that have accomplished, but the less wise one will spend a little bit more, 3 quick moments of the mind and realize the sense of the Nibbana. That was the teacher, and also is mentioned in the Vimuttimagga or Visuddhimagga. And that is about the 15 stage or the insight. The last insight of the 16 jhana is called Pacavekkhana jhana, the 16th insight. After the realization, one will spend more time in order to investigate for second, third, and fourth times by repeating on the stages in order to see how many, I underline, how many defilements been destroyed or eliminated, and what kind of defilements are remaining. This insight can be considered as identifying who you are from 4 kinds of the noble being, namely Sotabana or the stream enterer, Sakitakami, the once returner, Anakami, a non-returner, and an Arahanta, a Nibbana. Pacavekkhanaญาณ เป็นญาณที่ใช้ identify ใช้ระบุว่าผู้ปฏิบัตินั้นสำเร็จไปขั้นไหนแล้ว การจะรู้ว่าตัวเองอยู่ลำดับขั้นไหนแล้วหรือเป็นใครก็คือต้องรู้ว่ากิเลสในใจของตนเนี่ยตัวไหนที่ได้รับการเผาผลาญหรือทำลายลงไปแล้ว So this is the last stage of the 60 jhana, and today I have completed the 60 jhana, or we call it Sarasa jhana in Buddhism, which is appear in the Vimuttimagga and the Visuddhimagga, the Buddhist, the very great Buddhist scriptures. And then next time we'll discuss about the benefit of the Four Noble Truths. for the world practice.
คุณโยม
And I think I do complete the six jhana, and then I thank you very much for watching this program, and we'll come back to see you again on next Saturday early morning at 6 o'clock. Thanks again, and may Lord Buddha bless everyone to be free from the suffering, to be safe from the coronavirus pandemic. I would like to pass this back to Ajahn Thawachai. Thank you very much.
Thank you ยมชอดอนุโมทนา